What's up, guys? Mikey in the building. Hey, I'm going to go over TENX before I go on the book because that's all I really focus on now. These are just some prior daily supply zones, okay? This was a small window gap that it had on the daily, and I can kind of break that down for you right here. Little small window gap right here. These are some daily levels that I marked out. I marked out this one, and then I did this breakdown zone right here, which is actually perfect because yeah, it just mapped out pretty well on this chart. Okay, supply and demand, supply and demand. That's all I'm gonna say. No EMAs, supply and demand. Let's go, let's go. All right, cool. Um, One of the most important things though on this one that I want to go over is a couple of Mondays breakdown intraday zones. Okay, and this one actually did match up perfect with the daily supply zone. And then again, this breakdown zone right here, again, matched up perfectly with some of those supply zones that I marked on the daily. The reason why I say these are important because if there's continuation, I want to see them kind of align or match up with the book. Okay, and you can see this right here, these little zones that I drew. All right, those are very important because now when the book starts to present itself, I want to see support, or I want to see sellers get exhausted, or I want to see things that are lining up to have a confident, full convicted trade, right? Or you need to have full conviction, okay? Super, super important. All right, let's break down the book. All right. Most of you guys know I like stocks that have either weak opens or sideways action. And then if you really look at this one before it opened, okay, this had a nice weak pullback into open. So it's a little different, but very same concept of things. Because if this thing's going to dump, right, it's going to just start dumping and then it's going to be a failed trade, right? This thing already pulled back and consolidated, all right, and did have some nice bid support on the book. And then when this thing opened, it had a 50-cent front runner on there that absorbed some sellers, and it started to consolidate sideways again, and then bam, our 52-cent bidder popped in right there. This is even where I took a starter. I did not take anything right here, and that's okay. Actually played a let me see, I played INVO, okay, and I'll go over that in a different video. But TNX was phenomenal. I want to go over this one more particular right now for tonight. All right, this 52-cent bidder came in right away, and this is where a starter for me took place. And then we had this 54-cent front runner over previous areas of interest, which is beautiful. And full transparency, I had some pretty good size on this, but I did get paper handed or faked out right here, and I started to size down, um, and that's okay, right? Um, I want to be even open up about, hey, Mikey made a mistake, and that's okay because then I was able to go back on the book and review my trades and see where I can get better and where I can even get better at having those diamond hands, right? Because that's important, right? Um, and then again, too, I talk about this in my old videos. Um, Next time, Mikey, don't put too much size on so you don't get too nervous or really not paying attention to the micro details that are important, okay? This 54-cent bidder front runner came in here and was absorbing these sellers and then adding back on, right? You can clearly see this right here. Some sellers come in too, and that's okay. And then again, another seller came in right here and started to remove some of the liquidity, but it wasn't enough to break this front runner. Mikey. It's okay. All right, happens again right here, as you can see, and it actually chips it down pretty well. And then that guy never left. All right, and the support stood strong at 54 cents. All right, And after that, sellers got exhausted and even tried again right here, and they were just getting absorbed. Okay, it's very important to break this thing down too and kind of see, is that all one big sell? There are a bunch of small cells going through. These are bidders are here. This guy's getting absorbed. Okay, it's only 9,000 shares too of a 55-cent stock. It's really not that much. Okay, in reality. All right, very important. Okay, and let's go to the some more zones. Right. Okay, so this is this consolidation I just showed you right here, sitting at 54 that absorbed all of the sellers who try to come in and sell this or short this or take profits, whatever. Okay, and then this breakdown. Let's go over this breakdown because wow. All right, this breakdown happens right here. All right, and this whole entire thing gets absorbed. All right, now breakdowns when you see in these other videos that I talk about or the book is you're going to see offers and things get heavy or maybe a book flip that pops in on this. That doesn't happen here. All right. I really think that this thing is shaking the tree for all scalpers who slam heavy, long or short, and try to get a piece of the pie and things like that. And people are really just getting faked out more than none. Stop loss hunts, things like that, and so on. So when this thing actually broke down right here, this is another area of interest, right? Very important. Okay, this was a previous area where bidders and buyers and buying initiating started. Okay, it's really important to understand that. All right, now as this thing comes and breaks down, there's nice control right here. All right, but then the selling stopped. All right, there is no selling. Beautiful. Really, really beautiful. And guess what? Anybody who had shorted this and took a position over here and then maybe added right here is now starting to get underwater and have to cover. I'm not saying people did that, but you know, it's nice to think like that as a long, right? To look for areas of potential shorts, areas where people who don't go long and just short, and kind of think of where they're playing and where their maybe mindsets are at or where their heads are at. Okay, super, super important. This consolidation too is really nice because it's over a reclaim area. So to me, this is a very strong level, right? Strong level. Now this thing consolidates, and what does it do? It chases the 60 magnet. Now, this took a while for it to break, but these bidders that stepped up right here, where there was algo, and it wasn't even that big. It's only 30K against a 200, almost 220K offer. All right. The fact that it's holding up enough gives it enough time for some buyers to come in and actually start removing the liquidity. Okay. And this is what most people are not seeing too. Again. All right. As soon as this best bid gets over here, they throw up a bid to catch anything and everything, or to invite more slappers, buyers, retail buyers, anybody to come in here and actually chip this wall and for this thing to start opening up. Now, after this right here, there was no really offers until 62 and 63. So this thing squeezed almost 2 cents, which is really nice, and it magnets to the next best offer or the best limit order on the offer current order book. Okay. Beautiful, beautiful thing, guys. This thing starts to open up and really start testing all these other magnets. Okay. Now, when you're sitting like this thing looks like it goes up only. That is not the case. You got to zoom in and pay attention to these little spoof bids that are catching any price action and then allowing people to slap or allow the best offer. Go ahead and look for the next best limit offer that's on here. Okay, super cool, super important, guys. This was a great trade, and then yeah, it gave it all back. I'm gonna show you too, because it's very important when you see something that's setting up like this and squeezing on the daily, guys. This thing does a micro clear out, okay? It only breaks the high by a few cents. Look left right here, okay? This is a micro clear out, right? When I see something like this and it's at a key level after it's kind of getting extended and starts to go into this squeeze type of price action, well, okay, that oh, this is amazing, like, but okay, just like in a lot of videos that I talk about on the book now, there's no real support or real bid runners trying to follow this up. And there's a couple of them. Look at the size on these guys, 4,000 shares. Come on now. All right, I think they can do better than that. Right, if they wanted to. Okay, so when things are going parabolic and they're starting to make some new highs on the daily, guys, the daily is so important, right? Uh, really, it is. And then on top of that, it's the structure that gets these things or these prices or the stock to that type of price. All right, it's important to know. So if you're watching all this intraday action and then you're just like not paying attention to the daily, or how come the stock didn't go higher, or why is it breaking down, well, then you fail to realize that the daily is really important. Okay, followed by structure, volume, and things like that. Okay, so when I see things like this, guys, and they're topping out, guys, it's time to bail, take profits, and leave it alone. All right. There's just so much different type of price auctioning that's going on over here that you don't see anymore that happened down here when this move started. Okay. And this again, this name looks like it's thin, but this name is being caught and catched by a lot of spoof bids or algos that are helping this thing get to its next best offer or limit orders that are on the book. All right. It's very important to understand the best bid and the best offer. All right, guys. Yeah, this is TNX on the book. It was a very phenomenal lower highs um, type of trade. All right, you had to be really in tune to me. I always think it's so important to understand where we're trading and the zones that we're trading into. All right, whether they're uh, after hour structure, pre-market structure, the previous day structure, right relative volume is so important. Okay, this thing was cranking out so much volume on Monday, right? And then these key areas that are cranking out very high volume. It's important to understand that. So when we come back into it and we start trading either about average, this is average volume. All right. Let me just mark this real quick on the 5 minute average volume is about right here. This thing is only trading average volume. Okay, that's important to understand. If things do not sustain when you're playing as a long, it's time to take some profits and maybe think about flipping if you flip, or you know, if you're shorting, kind of wait for some key levels to come in and then look for a nice short so you're not getting squeezed or getting frustrated on the whole way up. All right. But yeah, guys, this is a great play right here. And then I'll go over INVO. All right, guys, much love. Peace out, Mikey.